When I open my eyes, I see a beautiful room full of beautiful people. I see Charleston. What a beautiful, eclectic place to be. I see King Street. My goodness, Meeting Street. I think a lot of people meet there. But I also see soap. I see lots of soap. This is a partially used bar of soap that I used in my hotel last night. And I'm going to tell you a story of how this little bar of soap has shaped and changed my life for the good. But before we talk about that little bar, let me tell you a little bit of what's going on. I'm originally Ugandan. Uganda is a small country in East Africa. Churchill called us the pearl of Africa. We pride ourselves in not only being handsome like I am, but also the fact that it's the source of the Nile. The Ethiopians think it's the source of the Nile, but we are the source of the Nile, Lake Victoria. We had come out of independence so excited about the prospects of a great new country as we left the British behind. Indeed, my parents were excited because they had just become teachers, and then quickly realized that teachers don't get paid a lot of money. And I think that's a universal rule, teachers not being paid a lot of money. So my dad comes up with the idea, why don't we reinvent ourselves and do something different? And so they became entrepreneurs. My mother chose to become a seamstress, a wedding gown seamstress. And in that room in my apartment where my father and mother lived, I saw in the living room fabric, beautiful fabrics, whites and blues and whites and blues and greens and yellows and blues. And there were all of the room was a royal mess. And then I saw my little sister Daisy running through with her little diaper, or we call them nappies back in Uganda, and my mother yelling at her, "Stop it, don't step on my clothing, stop it." And so in there, you'd hear this loud cacophony of a noise that showed my mother sewing. It was like a train going through a village. I joke all the time that she didn't have mannequins for flower girl dresses, so guess who the mannequin was? Why are you laughing? Yes, it was me, which is why I dress better than most of you. I mean, boutonniere, come on. In the other room, which is our kitchen, my father was in there, and I saw him making soap. You would see, I saw boiling pots, color lye, fat. And when men are preparing something, something is not going to usually turn out right. But he was in there trying to really do something special. But you would see soap being made. And I saw him make soap, and you will come back to that in a minute. And so here we were with two parents, and they looked something like that. You're supposed to say, oh, get out, you're late. That is me, really wondering what the heck is going on with my parents. And so everything was dandy. And then something changed. Something remarkable happened. A war broke out. Idi Amin was our president. For those of you who have watched the movie The Last King of Scotland, you saw Forrest Whitaker depict this reprobate of a leader, a man who consumed us and killed the spirit of the nation. I remember two indelible events that happened to me. The first one was, we woke up in the morning one day, and we had gunshots out of our apartment, and my father looked at it, and there were soldiers out of the apartment, and the man yelled in Swahili, which is an amalgam of Bantu languages and Arabic, "Get out of your apartments right now, get out." And as we walked out and got to this roundabout station where they had packed everybody, we realized we were in trouble. And we were accused as a village of having killed two soldiers. Now, in any civilized society, you'd imagine that somebody would say what? Do an investigative work and figure out what happened. Well, no, not for these guys. They had a firing squad until somebody would say something. So the first 4 people were picked up. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, come up. And as they were brought up, he pulled out a pistol and shot them point blank. He picked up another 4 as he asked the question, who killed these people? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, come up. And as they brought them up, the cacophony, the noise, the crying, the yelping by the mothers, and all of us were confused as to what was going on. Boom. Those 4 were killed, and the young man rose up his hand and said he had committed the crime. We knew he was lying because he was a visitor in the village, and he was shot and killed. I saw people being shot and killed at the age of 10. Another event that happened during that war was I was in class, and my teacher called me up and said, "Derreck, come here." I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Your father has been kidnapped, and you need to go home." When somebody's kidnapped during that time in Uganda, that meant death. So I knew my father was going to be killed. And we walked over to my uncle's place, and we got there, and there was a gathering of friends as if the man had already died. I saw people crying, and I saw this desperation. And as time went on, a little scooter came by, and it was my dad on the little scooter, and he walked in, and he had been let go. That's the first time I saw my father cry. And I knew that we were in trouble with this war. And then the last event that I remember very well was, as the war was going on, we were lacking all the essentials that you need in society: salt, sugar. Those were becoming black market issues. And this woman gave birth in front of us in our grandmother's house in the middle of dirt. It was horrible. This is when my mother said, "We've got to leave the country and go somewhere else." So we became refugees in Kenya. In Kenya, Kenya is a beautiful country. If you've never been to Kenya, it's the land of Mufasa, Lion King. They have the Rift Valley and all these other beautiful places. But I got there as a refugee. And my sister was put in a school, a primary school. That's Daisy. I don't have a real picture of Daisy as a young kid because we lost all our albums in the war. You guys have beautiful albums. This is a new photograph of Daisy right now. But Daisy, that little girl that ran in diapers and was then relegated to going to school in a place called Kibera. Kibera is one of the largest slums in the world. It's really brutal. And for those of you who don't know what goes on there, that's what it looks like. Trashy and horrible. In Daisy's class, you would see a cracked blackboard. You'd see kids that are dirty. You'd see all this remarkable squalor. This is from a young girl who enjoyed a beautiful life, and there she was in Kibera. But then, as luck would have it, I got a chance to come to the US. My father, through a connection, got me a chance to go to the US, because at that time, my mother was really having a rough time. She was suffering. She had left all the pageantry behind of making wedding gown dresses. She was now a little teacher again. The lady that raised me, Marge, was suffering, taking care of us as refugee kids. But when I get into the US, something interesting happened. I checked into a hotel. American hotels are interesting. There's interesting stuff going on in there. It is beautiful. I mean, the beautiful linens and everything. And I went into the shower area, the bathroom, and there were 3 bars of soap: hand-washing soap, facial soap, and body soap. Who does that? What is that? I mean, really? Seriously? Where's the ankle soap, the toe soap? I mean, I have grown up around soap, so I know what soap is. Don't fool me. So, I took the 2 bars. I'm African, I put them in my bag for tomorrow. What? Forget it. And they had shampoos when you pull back the curtain in case you had nappy hair like I do, This is a great nation, I'm thinking. I'm glad I'm here now. I come back that evening, and guess what they had done? They had replaced more soap. Okay? I'm African, I'm going to pick those 2 bars and put them in my bag. We're going to do this for a little while, Well, 3 days in, I realized they're going to charge me for it, because Americans will charge you for that soap. That's what I thought. So I go downstairs, and I meet the concierge, and he and I are talking. And I said to him, "Hey, listen," he was an African-American concierge, elegant and stood very... If you've never met African-Americans, you need to meet them. These are wonderful, remarkable people. I mean, my God. The only experience I had with African-Americans was through the movie Eddie Murphy made, Coming to America. My God, I mean, I really wanted to meet these people. I mean, she's your queen. I mean, wow. Anyway, so, we get in there, and I said to him, hey, listen, brother, I've been stealing your soap. He says, whoa, hold on a minute, what? I said, you keep on bringing me soap, and I've been taking it, but I realize you're going to charge me for it. I can't afford it, so I'm going to give it back to you. Don't charge me for it. He burst out laughing. He said, are you African, man? Are you African? And we were laughing at it. He says, well, let me tell you something, brother. You see them Americans around here? They steal soap too, so you're good, brother. You're good. So I said, okay, all right, that's good. But tell me, I said to him, tell me, what happens to the partially used bar of soap? When I stay for a day, what happens to the little partially used bar of soap? He says, well, we'll throw them out. I said, why? What do you mean you throw them out? People share soap all the time. He said, no, we're not going to use that. That's fine. That's soap. So I said, okay, how many hotels throw away soap? Is this everybody's? He says, every hotel in the U.S. throws away soap. 800 million bars of soap are thrown away every year by American hotels alone. 800 million. That is 2.6 million bars of soap every single day. I went back upstairs to my room and I lost it. I knelt down on my bed and I cried like a baby. Because all of a sudden, now I have connected the dots. I have an epiphany that has happened. I am the child that made soap with my father and enjoyed life. And then I became the child that had no soap as a refugee and saw the incredible squalor that we were faced with. And then now I'm the child that is blessed enough to be in a country that throws away soap. What do you do with that? I thought we can recycle it. So I embarked on recycling the soap. And so I have the largest collection of potato peelers. I'm going to walk you through the process of recycling soap. The first step is that they bring us the soap at the factory. We sort it by color, and then we peel every bar. And once we peel every bar, we then crush it. We crush the soap into a detergent sort of texture, and then we mix it with water. That's my little technique there. That's my invention there, It's a concrete mixer. So then we create a feta cheese texture in there, and then we put it in a hopper, and up goes the soap into the hopper, and you get something like that, a long bar of soap coming out, which we then chop into 6-ounce bars and take it to Cincinnati, where we test for pathogens, 12 pathogens, to make sure it's clean. And then we're ready to ship. Now, I don't know whether you know anything about African mamas, but when I take the soap back in Africa, an American mama, when you give an American mama a gift, what does she do? She says, thank you so much. You're so cute. Oh. An African mama does this. You are welcome. But it's not enough just to give them the soap and to enjoy the ululations, as is typical of African mamas. We teach the kids how to wash their hands. Because every year, we lose 2 million kids to diarrheal diseases. 2 million. And if they got a bar of soap and you taught them how to wash their hands, you would mitigate that by 40%. Just washing your hands. In fact, Americans have a little sign in their restaurants that says what? All employees wash your hands. The rest of you don't have to. The smiles of the kids when they get that bar of soap is remarkable. It gives you incredible hope about the power of small ideas and how they can actually generate a passion but also solve a problem. This is soap being thrown away, turned into a product that we can all use. We're in 32 countries right now. We're partnered with the Center for Disease Control that takes the soap and targets the places where that soap is needed. Because we do have soap in Africa, obviously, you know that. But do we have soap for the people who earn $1 a day? Can they actually afford it? No. So it's targeted. It's not on the black market. I tell you all this to tell you something interesting. What do you see? Because when I open my eyes, I see soap. I see the power of soap. When you open your eyes, what do you see? What events in your life can you use to inspire hope in the world? Mine has been a very simple thing: soap.